Hey, good afternoon, cross country. This is Coach Myers here. So, what we have here today is a slide, a one slider here based off some of the input that your coach wanted in regards to hydration for your off-season training during the summer months. So, I put it together a pretty comprehensive slide that I like to think is still pretty easy to read. At the same time, though, I wanted to make sure that I had a human to human conversation with you as best as I possibly could. So, that's why we're doing the video. What your coach wanted to know was what are the recommendations and guidelines for hydrating during the summer months. I'll let you know that everything that you see in here was pulled from some pretty good pieces of literature that has stood the test of time through different sporting events, different studies, so on and so forth. And those references will be provided at the end of the entirety of this PowerPoint if you do want to go in and do that actual scientific reading. But if you don't and you just want to be told what to do, well, here it is. It's in the slide and we're going to talk about it. The first area that we want to talk about is pre-workout. So what you need to be aiming for in the 2 to 3 hour window before you actually work out is to get 20 ounces of hydration. I prefer you get that hydration from a sports drink, Gatorade, Powerade. There's a lot out there. But the main thing that need to be focused on is one, the hydration that the sports drink will provide for you with the actual, no kidding, water in there, but also the carbohydrate and electrolyte content that is in those sport drinks that are going to be absolutely crucial to your practice and performance during these hot summer months. So 2 to 3 hours before practice, make sure you're getting in at least 20 ounces of a carbohydrate type sports drink before you actually go out there. Again, that's 2 to 3 hours. Depending on your tolerance, need to go to the bathroom, so on and so forth. You have to play with a lot of these things to make sure you get that timing right. There's no magical number that you must hit in order to work, but 2 to 3 hours is the guideline. And then 10 to 20 minutes before practice, make sure you're getting at least another 10 ounces of water in. Again, this will all be based on tolerance. Some of you may be able to get 20 ounces of water in. If you can, I recommend that you get those 20 ounces of water in. But the minimum recommendation really is to get 10 ounces in before you actually, no kidding, take off. Big thing I really want to talk to you about here is the in-workout. So, a lot of the guidelines from the literature, again, that's provided in the references, specifies that you should be taking in 10 ounces of water every 10 to 20 minutes, water or sports drink. Really, it's going to boil down to your preference and what's going to be the best available for you. Now, this is kind of hard. So your sport, unlike weightlifting and football that I'll be talking to later, who have program breaks inside of their training, you may not necessarily always have that. Your sport's running. You have to run. You're going different places. You may not be on a track, especially with cross country. You're going to be all over the place, different terrains, doing different types of training. So trying to figure out how to nail down this 10 ounces of water in every 10 to 20 minutes may be a little difficult. So the first recommendation, the really easiest one, but it may not be the best one, is a handheld water bottle, much like the one that you see here. This water bottle here, this contains 20 ounces of water, listed up here. It's always good to have a water bottle that lists that so you know how much you're drinking. You take it, you carry it on the hand. Good thing to look for as well, especially as your coach said in the hot summer months, make sure it has a twist-off bottle. Make sure you can fit ice in there. That's going to be crucial. I'll tell you from experience, I DNF'd in a 50-mile ultra marathon. I had a bottle from Walmart that had a hole about this big. I could not get ice in that thing. This 50-mile ultra marathon was in the Mojave Desert. I needed water. I needed cold water to cool down. Didn't work well for me. I DNF'd at 30 miles. So, again, this is a good recommendation right here. But I understand these things can be cumbersome. You're doing an ultra marathon, you're running slower. You guys are going to be at a much faster pace. So you have a couple other options here. You can work with the coach and make sure that there are pre-programmed water breaks set up in there along your routes. Maybe you run laps where you coming back to the same point where you have it. Or I also recommend that you get together as a team and you go out and you position these water bottles, whether they be frozen water bottles, coolers, what have you. Get together as a team, work with the coach, make sure you understand the routes, and get those things pre-positioned out there so that way you know that you can hit that 10 ounces of water every 10 to 20 minutes. Post-workout, this one gets a little difficult too. So the overall guideline, because everyone sweats differently, everyone's in different temperatures. Temperature sometimes may not be the same every day. Sometimes it's cooler, sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's very hot and humid that will affect your sweat rate. The biggest thing that you'll find in the literature is to make sure that you correct your fluid loss that you incurred during training. So the best way to do this is to be able to weigh yourself before practice, and then when you're done, weigh yourself after practice. And then you can use Google, say like, hey, this many pounds equals this many ounces of water. There's a lot of easy calculators out there that you can just look up on your phone real quick and be able to figure that out. And then make sure that you correct that fluid loss. The alternative that I'll tell you is to aim for the 20 ounces before, get at least 20 ounces during, and then 20 ounces directly after. And then make sure that it goes down to the bottom of this slide. Make sure that you're drinking at least 20 ounces of water, purely water, not any sort of tea, coffee, sports drink, whatever, with every single one of your meals. So in the other guidelines, I do encourage you to go look at, even though you're not part of the weightlifting team or part of the football team. There's also some good information in there on protein and carbohydrate uptake and whatnot that is still relevant to you all. But one of the notes in the other, for the other teams, is about the guidelines to eat 4 to 6 meals per day. So with that, if you are eating in that 4 to 6 meals, that does include snacks, and you're getting that 20 ounces of water with every single one of those meals or snacks, you really just have to hit 5 meals and get those 20 ounces of water, and then that supplemented with your sports drinks or any other drinks that you consume, and that includes the liquid from food, you will be able to easily hit that 100 ounces of water should you not be able to mathematically nail this thing down and be able to post-workout, being able to correct those fluid loss. The final recommendation that I would make for you is the safest bet is to find yourself a nice durable water bottle. I prefer Hydro Flask. They're great. I've had this one for about 30 years now. Very durable. They keep everything cold. I don't know if you can hear the ice or not, but your drinks will stay incredibly cold. This one here, it holds 40 ounces of water. I just have to drink 2.5 of those in a day, and I'm able to hit that 100 ounces. This thing can go anywhere with you. It can go in between classes. It can go on shopping trips, whatever it is. You carry that thing with you, and then you make sure you drink 2 to 3 of those a day, and you're going to hit those 100 ounces of water. So with that concludes everything in regards to pre-workout, in-workout, post-workout, hydration recommendations and methods. I will leave my email at the end of this brief for you to be able to reach out with any specific questions. Thanks and good luck out there.